Hi, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. So, this is a kind of mini book review, and I'm going to share my Essie nail polish collection. Sorry if you hear my dog running around. Okay, so I also want to share my nail polish collection that is also inspired by the characters in White Oleander by Janet Fitch. Okay, so White Oleander is one of my favorite books. I'm going to read you a little bit on the back. So everywhere hailed as a novel of rare beauty and power, White Oleander tells the unforgettable story of Ingrid, a brilliant poet imprisoned for murder, and her daughter Astrid, whose odyssey through a series of Los Angeles foster homes, each its own universe, which is with its own laws, its own dangers, its own hard lessons to be learned, becomes a redeeming and surprising journey of self-discovery. So it pretty much tells you on the back that Astrid's mother, Ingrid, is in prison for murder. So that immediately sets Astrid on a different path of having to navigate the life of living in all these different foster homes. And, she went from just living with her single parent, her mother, pretty much just her and her mother. And her mother, Ingrid, she's very intense. Also, before I talk about the characters a little bit, I want to say that I want to read a little bit of her writing. So this is page 1. The Santa Ana's blew and hot from the desert, shriveling the last of the spring glass into whiskers of pale straw. Only the oleanders thrived. Their delicate poisonous blooms, their dagger green leaves. We could not sleep in the hot, dry nights. My mother and I woke up at midnight to find her bed empty. I climbed to the roof and easily spotted her blonde hair like a white flame in the light of the 3/4 moon. Oleander time, she said. Lovers who kill each other now will blame it on the wind. She held up her large hand and spread her fingers, let the desert dryness lick through. My mother was not herself in the time of Santa Ana's. I was 12 years old and I was afraid of her. I wished things were back the way they had been, that Barry was still here, that the wind would stop blowing. So, Janet Fitch has a beautiful prose. She has such a beautiful way of writing. And so this book is all about Astrid, who's the protagonist, and her having to try to fit in all these different homes and each home is different than the next. And I'm not going to talk about every single home because I'm just going to talk about the ones that made the biggest impression on me as a reader. And I also want to say that this book it's all about trying to find who you are when you really don't know. First of all, it starts off, she's only 12 years old. And so as you can imagine, being in all these foster homes, not to be superficial, but it's true, everyone has a different style, a different way of life, not only externally but internally, and that's very hard for a child. The movie is phenomenal, you guys. If you read the book, I really recommend watching the movie. It's one of the closest adaptations I've ever seen. The actors were perfectly chosen. Michelle Pfeiffer plays Ingrid. I'm not sure, I'm sorry, it's slipping my mind, the actress who plays Astrid, but she does such a wonderful job. She's exactly what I pictured Astrid to be. And then Ingrid, Michelle Pfeiffer is perfect as Ingrid, And so this book is all about just a little girl's journey into being a woman and navigating all the stress and the turmoil and the trauma that goes into how she ended up in these foster homes, which is what decision that her mom made. Her mom's this really intense artist, poet, and her mom has this trauma. So her mom has issues opening up with people. And Astrid, she adores her mother, and they have to get separated because her mom goes to prison, and you have to make sure it's that, yeah. So her mom goes to prison, and you just have to, and so the book navigates, so the book deals with what happens after, pretty much. It's a little bit before and then mostly after her mom goes to prison. And so just that in itself is such a interesting story, because I've read a lot of stories about foster children and orphans and kids that were adopted and things like that. I love, Jane Eyre is my favorite book of all time, and she is, of course, an orphan. like pretty much none of them that I've read had a parent that was like in prison. So you still have that reach, that emotional reach of the parent, yet you're trying to find yourself without really anyone to depend on but yourself, because the only person you loved in the whole world has been taken from you. And so Astrid has to deal with the relationship of forgiving or not forgiving her mother, and she has to deal with how to handle all these different people. So I think I've said enough about the book and talk about the characters. So that I chose to focus on for this video. So of course the most important character is Astrid, and she's the protagonist. Astrid is a chameleon. Astrid conforms to every house that she's in to her best ability. And so she's still learning who she is. Yeah, so, and then Ingrid. So Ingrid's her mother. Ingrid is a woman who is dealing with a lot of jealousy, betrayal, and she wants revenge. And that has a lot to do with like the plot of the book of being scorned by a man, but yet not wanting to feel vulnerable and struggling with that vulnerability, and it gets her in a lot of trouble. I want to share one letter because Astrid and her mom, Ingrid, would write to each other. So this is a letter that Ingrid wrote to Astrid from prison. Dear Astrid, don't tell me you hate your new foster home. If they're not beating you, consider yourself lucky. Loneliness is the human condition. Cultivate it. The way it tunnels into you allows your soul room to grow. Never expect to outgrow loneliness. Never hope to find people who will understand you. Someone to fill that space. An intelligent, sensitive person is the exception, the very great exception. If you expect to find people who will understand you, you will grow murderous with disappointment. The best you'll ever do is to understand yourself. Know what it is that you want and not let the cattle stand in your way. Moo. The way she writes, which is obviously Janet Fitch writing through the character, she's so powerful and strong, yet she's so dysfunctional. And a lot of the themes in this book have to do with male-female relationships and the toxicity that can come from those relationships with jealousy. And so, so the next character is Star, that I want to discuss. So Star is one of her foster mothers. So Star also has like issues with relationships and men and with jealousy. And Star, I'm not going to go into to give too much away about what happens when she's in the home with Star. She's kind of like, you can just tell she has like all these emotional issues and things like that. Like she's kind of a loose cannon. She's very unstable, and she's also in this relationship that she's questioning. So she's also a very like, makes herself like a very vulnerable character, and has a lot of trouble with I think the biggest theme of this book is like revenge, besides love, revenge, jealousy, loyalty. But the whole thing about revenge is like, is it really worth it? Star doesn't really have an issue appearing vulnerable, but she's just a mess. So the next foster mom I want to talk about that made a big impression on me is Claire. So Claire also is a very insecure woman. She's an actress. She has a lot of issues with also same thing, jealousy. Like her husband doesn't work in the home a lot. Like he works outside the home a lot. And like she's very codependent. Like she's very needy. She wants to be with him. She wants him to be with her. And then so there's a lot of that in that relationship where, again, like Astrid's in a home that's kind of unsteady. Claire is very warm. I would say Claire is probably like the foster home that like would be like the dream place for Astrid if everything was perfect. Like they really got along really well together. And so then there's Rena. So Rena was one of, Rena's like the last foster home that she's in. So Rena is like hustler. Rena is the type of foster mom that takes in older girls. So a lot of the girls that she has are pretty much teenagers. She doesn't really want like a toddler. She's like very independent. She's always like trying to like make money by doing something. She's not mean, but she's definitely not warm. She has like an edge about her. The last character I want to talk about that was not a foster mother, but she was a character in the book that Astrid looked up to. Like kind of, she was like a neighbor of one of the foster mothers. So her name was Olivia. So Olivia is this like very sophisticated, kind of worldly, very modern, kind of cool woman. And Astrid really thinks everything in her house is cool. She's so cool. She has like, I believe she drives like a Corvette. She is very like, just takes her shopping. Olivia is like the opposite of pretty much almost all of the women in the book, yet you don't really get to spend a lot of time with Olivia. So Olivia, I'm not going to say what she does for a living. I'm not going to say like too much about that, so you could read it for yourself. But like Olivia is not married. She doesn't have any kids. So you don't really get to see the dynamics of like a marriage or something like that with Olivia. She seems very confident, whether it's a false confidence or not. Probably what Astrid wants to be. In not in a literal way, because obviously, there's things about Olivia that you would but Olivia just seems like really cool, and I really like her, and she's really nice to Astrid. And so I think I said the main themes of jealousy, revenge, and then I talked about the characters. So now I'm gonna do the fun part of talking about what nail polish I think each character would wear. This is just fun. I don't want to take it too literal. Since I mentioned that Astrid is a chameleon, she could wear any single color. And I rewatched the movie just to see like if they talk about the nail polishes and thing like that. At the end of the movie, Astrid is wearing a nail polish that, I don't know, it seemed kind of was like a glittery, shimmery, like maybe purplish gold. I couldn't really tell that well from the screen. But all throughout the movie, I mean, her nails are pretty much unpolished or whatever. I mean, she is still young, but this is just fiction. This is just fun. Like, I'm just doing a kind of little. So since Astrid is a chameleon, I think if she would have stayed in every single home, like as long, as like the whole book, she would have worn whatever polish like the protagonist, the foster mother bought her or whatever. So, but yeah, so I just picked licorice. These are all by Essie, by the way. I'll do a swatch, even though it's pretty much black, but I just picked black for Astrid because I don't think Astrid really knows who she is. And I don't think Astrid is done growing as a person. Not that you have to be to pick a nail polish, but since I'm just doing this for this video, I thought it'd be fun to talk about that, like hypothetically. I just picked black for Astrid because, like I said, she was a chameleon. She adapted to every environment, and I think she would enjoy wearing black. So that's Licorice by Essie. That's a swatch. And then Ingrid. So Ingrid, I don't think is the type of person to wear nail polish. And not that the movie has to be also a literal translation of the book always. But in the movie, she definitely wasn't wearing. Of course, in prison, they probably don't let her wear. I don't know. But before she went to prison, her nails were bare in the movie. I'm wearing this color now. This is Cut It Out by Essie. It's a very light gray. And I'm going to do a swatch anyway in case you can't see really good because I'm doing swatches for everything. But I thought this was very Ingrid. I thought if Ingrid wore a polish, it would be like this. It would be very subtle, just like a very simple gray. And that's Cut It Out by Essie. So next is Star. When I first saw Star, I could see her wearing because in the movie she's wearing I think bright red, but I still feel like out of the polishes I own, I felt like she was a little bit more this color, just in my Essie world. So I am going to, this is Darling Damsel by Essie, and I will link what I can find. Essie changes their polishes like the wind blows. I'm serious. If you like a polish by Essie, buy 3 of them if you can, because in my experience, it's like a metallic shimmery. This one actually has actual shimmers in it. You can see it. So if you really like a polish by Essie, buy 3 of them, because I find that they change their polishes really quick. And maybe that's because I don't buy stuff a lot. I don't constantly shop for nail polish, so a lot of these, Okay, so anyway, I just see this as Star. So now this is also, I looked in the movie and the book, I don't know if they mentioned it, of course, it's nail polish. But this is very Claire to me. This is Pillow Talk the Talk. And this is like a very light pink, shimmerish, almost like a nude, like a pinky, shimmery nude. I thought this would be very Claire. Even though I think in the movie she's not wearing polish, but I think this is very Claire. It's very subtle, and I think Claire would wear this. Okay, so now I have Rena. So Rena again, like I believe like Rena in the movie is wearing like the cherry red, but I wanted to show you guys my whole Essie collection, so I picked a different color because I kind of felt like Star and Rena might wear, like probably wear the same nail polish, but then I also could see Rena wearing this. So this is Rena, inspired by Rena. This is Berry Naughty by Essie. It's like a really rich, plummy red. I actually bought it because I became obsessed with Clinique Black Honey, the lipstick, and I was trying to find everything that reminded me of Black Honey. So that is Berry Naughty, and I could see Rena wearing this. I really could. Okay, so now Olivia. Kind of struggled with Olivia because in the book it's mentioned that Olivia has white tip nails with like a French manicure, and I don't own anything to do that. But then I kind of thought about it, and I know like she takes Astrid shopping, and then Astrid, I think she helps Astrid pick out this like French blue. I don't remember if it was like a top or some type of article of clothing maybe. And this is like, I actually bought this because I love gray. It's Essie toned down. It's kind of like a concrete color mixed with a little bit of blue. It's definitely not French blue, but I definitely feel like Olivia would wear this color. So I'm going to show you guys a swatch. And that is Essie toned down. It kind of reminds me of like the color of concrete, but yet like a dash of blue. So yeah, so I thought that'd be really fun to do, kind of like express my opinion of the book characters that stood out to me through the nail colors, and that's what I picked, you guys. So now I'm going to show you, to show you my entire nail polish collection. I'm going to show you my remaining colors. So I have two more. I'm obsessed with gray, and then I have another kind of plummy color inspired by Black Honey, and then I have a red. Now you could say I could have used this for Rena, or I could have used this for Star, but I still feel like those other ones were just like more of a surprise. But I do see Rena and Star because wearing this, but yeah, and like I said, Astrid could wear any color because she's just a chameleon. Astrid's awesome. So this is Binge Worthy. This is another gray. After buying different grays to find which one I like the best, I really noticed I liked cool grays. This is much of a warm gray. It kind of almost has like a brownish tint to it. So that's Binge Worthy. Okay, so this is another gray. Now this one is a cool gray. There's something about it that's just like a little bit too opaque for me. It kind of comes off. I'll show you. This is In the Modem. And I will link, like even if I can't find these active colors, I'm just going to link the colors no matter what. So you can see just a comparison. This is way more of a cool gray, but it has more of a green hue to it. It's not my favorite gray. The Ingrid color, this one, the one I'm wearing, this is my favorite gray that I own at this moment. I'm actually about to go look online to get one or two more before I can't find it anymore. This is Wicked. So this is very plummy. This one I thought was going to be a little bit more red, but no, it has like a lot of purple in it. It's almost like a dark purple. And this one I kind of thought was like a little bit Berry Naughty-ish, but a little bit more purple. And then my last one's just a classic red, which is Not Ready for Bed. And this one's a very, very classic red. It's a little bit, I'm very picky about nail polish. I think nail polish is one of those things that You really have to try on for yourself. So this red I feel is a little bit too intense for me. I like a little bit more of like a coral red, where it's a little bit more orangey, but this is the red I have now, not ready for bed. And so yeah, so that is my entire Essie collection, you guys, and that is my whole video talking about the links to the book. Just want to say I'd love for you to subscribe, and I'd love for you to like and hang around. So thanks so much for watching.